You're listening to Finding Your Future in Food Systems.
Welcome to NAFSN. The North American Food Systems Network is a professional association of people working to strengthen local and regional food systems. We work at the forefront of the profession itself, providing networking opportunities, tools, trainings, webinars, career guidance, and a comprehensive jobs board. We encourage you to join NAFSN if you value a diverse, well-informed, place-based workforce at the helm of this critical work. We also want to acknowledge this. Many of the organizations and agencies that do the work of strengthening their local food systems, including farmers, are currently under political duress. Undue and inhumane funding cuts to sustainable agriculture and food access programs threaten our profession and America's overall food security. It is with determination that we continue to host this series so that more and more people understand how essential these roles are to the vitality of local economies, the health of communities, and the responsible care of Earth's natural resources. We would like to thank you all for joining us for the pilot episode of the long-form international version of Finding Your Future in Food Systems. Now in our 9th season, we will continue our popular 3-speaker episodes in addition to adding several longer, pre-recorded, single-speaker episodes like this one. The focus for this pilot series is on companies and organizations redefining how business is done in the food and agricultural sectors. And to highlight the incredible diversity present within the food system space, we have extended the invitation to leaders beyond North America. Finding Your Future in Food Systems will continue to be produced and hosted by students while we aim to help emerging professionals and others navigate the wide range of quickly evolving career opportunities in community food systems work. My name is Jeffrey, a second year, going on to my third year, student in food science and global development at Cornell University, and a student staff member at NAFSN. Before we get started, we'd like to sincerely thank the season series sponsor, FarmWise, a value chain development initiative at Indiana University. We'd also like to acknowledge and appreciate our year-round sponsors, Grapevine Local Food Marketing, Roots of Change, Cliff Family Foundation, and Harrisdale Homestead. NAFSN is headquartered in Ithaca, New York, and we offer this land acknowledgement created by Cornell University's American Indian and Indigenous Studies program, reviewed and approved by the traditional Gayacono leadership. Cornell University is located on the traditional homelands of the Gayacono of the Cayuga Nation. The Gayacono are members of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, an alliance of 6 sovereign nations with a historic and contemporary presence on this land. The Confederacy precedes the establishment of Cornell University, New York State, and the United States of America. We acknowledge the painful history of the Gayacono dispossession and honor the ongoing connection of Gayacono people, past and present, to these lands and waters. And for our episode today, we are honored to be joined by Mr. John Babadora from Nigeria. John B. Babadora, JB, is a development expert with about a decade of experience working to transform agri-food systems in Africa. He has led and supported complex multi-stakeholder programs that create value and spur innovation in agriculture, climate adaptation, circular economy, and rural entrepreneurship in Africa. He is the co-founder and managing partner of Ace Agritech, a management consulting firm, and the founder of Tomatrix Post-Harvest Innovation for Nutrition, a social enterprise which addresses rural poverty and food loss through value-added agro-processing. JB champions sustainable development through policy intervention, innovation management, and social entrepreneurship. In recognition of his significant contributions to agri-food systems in Nigeria, he was awarded the Herbert H. Humphrey Fellowship at Cornell University in 2022 by the U.S. Department of State. Babadora holds a Bachelor of Science in Biology from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, and a Master's degree in Development Studies from the Federal University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Please take it away, JB, and thank you for being with us here today.
So thank you so much for having me, and special thanks to the leadership and the management, including the sponsors of the North American Food System And it's a pleasure, the amazing work you're doing, and then the contribution to both professional development and also strengthening the food systems, both regionally within the North American countries, and also opportunity for professionals like myself at the international level to both contribute and also network with your esteemed members. So I believe personally that the food system is interconnected around the world. It's one global food system, and we may not say this upfront, which I think we should. The reality is that we are interconnected. When there is food insecurity in a region around the world, it has a kind of a ripple effect on other regions. On the ability of people to access nutrition, poverty, increase in poverty level, diminishing purchasing power of people, has implication on what food can be cultivated, planted, assessed, and then what is available in the market for the end consumers to buy. So I believe this is an important work that your organization is doing, and I'm glad to be able to speak to your audience today. So thank you so much for having me. So John Babadora, and I am a team lead for Tomatrix post-harvest innovation for nutrition. We're based in Nigeria. I'd like to tell a short story of how I started this work. When I started my career, I was opportunity to work in a consulting firm, and then doing various work from environmental risk assessment to business performance enhancement for corporate organizations in Nigeria. And then along the line, I was fortunate to work in the development sector. And then when I transferred to the development sector, I was privileged to travel to so many rural communities in my country. And that exposed me to the diversity of the food system that we have even within a country. So I realized that my experience living in the city is quite different from the experience of people in the rural communities. And I realized that so many things that we take for granted in the city have actually painstaking hard work of local rural farmers. And then there is a huge incidence of poverty, quite very high. And also, even though this group of people, they are closer to the soil, they cultivate most of the food that we eat in the city, but it's so surprising to find that the level of food insecurity and poverty and malnutrition in the rural areas is disproportionately quite higher than in the urban area. So I became more curious about this, and then I began to speak with some locals, travels, and speak to people. And then from there, I realized that the food system is broken. The biggest share of everything wrong with the food system, it's being bared by the people at the rural communities. So I began to share an idea with the organization where I was working then and say, why don't we consider having the kind of a food innovation, or where you could do some kind of value addition, because post-harvest losses is a huge problem in the rural communities. And then due to the limitations of development project, that idea couldn't be, there was no room for such idea to take off from the project that I was employed to do at that time. But my mind never left it. So even though my organization at that time couldn't do something about the ideas I was sharing, but this stuck in my head, and I knew that somebody has to do something about it. And then sadly, I keep checking through, and I see that for like 2 years, even after I had the first exposures to the challenges of the rural community, it seems that the situation is getting worse. Like you can see on this particular slide, the picture where you can see that was me standing wearing a green shirt with my hands this way. So I was in this rural community, and it was a tomato harvest season. And due to lack of access to market, due to poor storage infrastructure and limited value addition process at the post-harvest level, Most of these tomato fruit were either abandoned on the farm or they were harvested and sliced and they left to dry on this bare sandy floor. This is not a drying bed, it is just a bare floor with earth, sand, stones, and the likes. So standing there, for me, I see that this is a problem that somebody needs to do something about. One, I can see the waste of value from the farmers. I could see loss of income opportunity. I could see loss of nutrition. And lastly, I could see that whatever this product is turned to is definitely not hygienic, and no one should have to consume such tomato products. So I held out my phone to one of my team member, a colleague at the time who was with me, and then we took these pictures, and I began to explore what could we do about it. And that was the genesis of the work that we've been doing now as Tomatrix. So we realized that we are overly focused, particularly in developing countries, on increasing food production. Yes, as a professional, I understand the sentiment. I agree that we are definitely not producing enough food. But I want to tell you that it is an established fact that about 45 to 50% of the little we produce goes to waste, post-harvest losses. And with this unprecedented food loss, we definitely should not be even talking about producing more when we have not yet maximized the little that we have produced. And that was why we set up Tomatrix with two other founders who are my co-founders, and decided to begin to experiment with various innovations that can help us to reduce post-harvest losses. Our vision is to build a community-centric social enterprise that promotes innovation, support development of the farmers, and professionals, young graduate professionals, to understand the challenges, exploit opportunities, solutions, and then find ways to scale proven solutions. And this is what we've been doing since 2019 that we started the company. And over this period, we have been able to engage with 5,300 farmers to date, smallholder farmers, and we have done more than 92,000 metric tons of various agricultural produce in processing. And currently now we have 6 full-time staffs, and we have 8 contract staff, and we work with other value chain actors like logistics service providers, with input service providers. We work with people that provides finance for us to also support the farmers with access to finance to increase production activity. So this is where we are this time, and we still have some beautiful ideas for the future that we hope that as we continue to grow, we have opportunities to implement some of these new ideas and new inspirations that we are having along the line. So thank you. I'll stop here and then see how the conversation goes.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Babadora. Just a couple of questions that I have to get the ball rolling. In sort of the last part before you ended, you had mentioned that you have six full-time staff, along with some support staff that you also have brought on. And I was reading on your website that you have built and maintained relationships with over 125 smallholder farmers. So I was wondering, how did you go about, first and foremost, building those relationships, and how are you able to maintain them with such a lean staff amount?
Very well, very good question. So working with smallholder farmers in Nigeria can be a little bit capital intensive. So the farmers are also quite diverse and also have diverse needs. There are farmers in some locality that their challenge is just to access markets. Access to markets is just a challenge for some. While some, it is a lack of extension services. We don't have very organized or robust extension system like the Cornell cooperative extension system in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the public extension system, it's one extension agent to about 10,000 farmers. So it is quite impossible for such extension system to be effective or to be even be efficient. So we found 125 farmers that we could support with all of the services that we provide, which is to provide access to finance, training for climate smart agricultural practices, and then to provide access to market, guaranteed access to market. And in addition to this, we are also able to help them with crop planning and cropping calendar for the every growing season. So from the 5,300 farmers we currently have in our database, we could only provide this suite of support services to 125 farmers because it's quite capital intensive, at least by our standard. And also, we do not have the bandwidth to be able to do all the 5,300. So then looking at our staff strength, it's we try to do a lot of to leverage technology as much as possible to support our work. So our simple model is we try to keep one of our staff to manage 25 farmers. So that way, it means that we need only about 5 persons to manage the 125 farmers. So this way, we are trying to remodel what the extension system should look like. So for a developing country like Nigeria, with limited investment in the agricultural sector, you do not want to overburden the extension agents to do too much work by having hundreds of farmers or thousands of farmers to manage. But with 25 farmers to an extension agent or to a staff, it means that they could provide almost near real-time support services. They could provide almost 24-hour support from weather advisories to cropping system, early warning signals, to providing access to market, to being able to collect close data on both the production activities and then post-production activities. So that way, we have currently been able to achieve 0 post-harvest losses for these 125 farmers. So whereas we have been able to provide skeletal support for the remaining farmers. So which we hope that in the near future, when we have more capacity, we're able to do the exact same thing we're doing for the 125 farmers for up to the 5,300 farmers that we currently work with across multiple locations in the country.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you. And for I know that for your main product focus at Tomatrix is working on tomato processing, but are you able to also provide through this sort of extension service and working with the farmers support for other crops as well?
Yeah, so the website is a little bit outdated because now we've been able to expand to 3 additional crop value chains. So right now we're doing in total 7 crop value chains. So which is tomato, pepper, onions, yam, sweet potato. So these are the crop value chains where we currently are working, and then we were careful in selection of this crop value chain because these are very important socioeconomic crop to Nigerians. They are vastly grown across many regions of the country. Nigeria is quite a very big country in terms of population. We are about 232 million people. So we have a very diversity among our farmers. But these crop value chains are very widespread. Almost they can be grown in all the regions of the country. And they are super economic crop to Nigerians, and also they are crop also with cultural significance to Nigeria. For example, in the whole of Africa, Nigeria is the 2nd largest producer of tomato. And then for yam and cassava, we are the global largest producer of yam. Yam and cassava, they are tuber crops. So they are one of the major sources of calories for Nigerians. and then tomato, pepper, onions, and rainfed sweet potato. These are crops of very high nutritional value as well to Nigerians. So these are the data driven insight behind our decisions to select these crop value chains. So right now, because of the expansion of the crop value chain, it enables us to have footprint across the important regions of the country, while we continue to learn, understand what works, and how best to continue to support these farmers.
Thank you. Could you talk a little bit more about how, like, what types of products are you able to offer the public from the value-added processing of peppers or onions or yams and cassavas as well?
Oh, very good. So the model that we are introducing is, we just like to call it simply an enterprising solution, which is that we don't just want to support the farmers at a rural level. We want to be able to ensure that farmers that are within our network are adequately connected to the market. And because we understood that from the work I've done in the development space, working on so many agricultural development programs, I understand that for economic sustainability of the rural community, they need to be correctly connected to the market. This is one way to guarantee continuous flow of income, and then giving them financial ability to be able to live a decent life, fund their aspiration, and even invest in their families and then shelter, and even probably to do more with their farming activities. So the way we have chosen to do that is to adopt a model we call an enterprising solution, which is that for every farmers that we engage, they must be connected to the market. So in season, we try to find ways to connect farmers to sell either the raw produce or to do value addition in the Tomatrix innovation, or whereby we currently produce the tomato puree, which is probably seen on the website. And then we also produce cassava flakes. So cassava flakes is like a breakfast cereal, similar to like the Kellogg's cornflakes in the US. But this is just something we made from a very small operations in a cottage system. And then with this value addition, we are able to guarantee access to this farm produce all year round, reduce post-harvest losses, because part of the problem of post-harvest loss, why we have so much huge post-harvest loss in Nigeria, is lack of access to storage facility or the infrastructure for processing. So with at the Tomatrix food innovation hub, we are able to do value addition. So we produce tomatoes, and then the tomato puree, they are made to reflect the Nigerian cuisines. There's a way Nigerians like to do their tomato mix with pepper, onions, so that was how that product is formulated for the Nigerian market to be able to buy. So we sell this tomato paste to the Nigerian market, and then we have income to be able to reinvest to support more farmers, to take more produce from the farmers, and then guarantee both income for organization to be able to sustain itself, because even though we are a startup, we have never raised funds, and we have never accessed any form of funding, be it debt or equity, to run our operation. So we need to stay financially viable to be able to do the things we do. And that's also the reason why our operation is quite small at this time. So we believe in product development. What value addition can we do to the primary crop produced by the farmers to increase the opportunities for market and guaranteeing income for the organization and for the farmers, and then be able to provide all year-round access of this quality food product to the consumers. So we believe that if we can sell more, then we can support farmers more, because the raw materials comes from the farmers. So increase in supply to the consumers means we can do more offtake from the farmers. So which is a kind of a win-win for every key stakeholders involved in this agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And for the products that you are currently selling, the tomato puree as well as the cassava flakes, what is the main medium of which they're sold? Are they being sold in like shops, more so in the informal sector, the formal sector, and even in supermarkets? How do you, who is is there a distributor that you're working with?
Oh, very good. So right now, what we currently do is we do direct sales.
Okay.
So what that means to us is we target the final consumers. So we do this because this helps us to increase our profit margin.
Hmm.
Because similar to the system in the North America, if you go through brokers or through distributors, they that increases so they kind of have the huge margin for themselves, and then it reduces the profit for the producer, and then that also means that the consumer also tends to buy the product at a higher price. So currently now, the scale of the operations we're doing is small, or it's small by the standard of the large conglomerates, large big food corporation is quite small. So our first major target is to target direct consumers. So we leverage our social interactions. Like, for example, I'm a Christian, so every Sunday when I'm going to church, I tend to have a stand in the church. So we go with some products after service when people are leaving the church, people tends to buy the products. So when we have opportunity to go to event, trade fair, we go there with some of our products and then we sell. And then because we've been doing this over the years, we offer very quality products that is loved by our consumers. 95% of our customers are returning customers in the last 3 years. So most customers call us directly and then we ship the product to them, or they come to us to pick it up themselves. So, but I anticipate that this might change in the future when we scale up our production output. But at the moment, we are doing majorly direct sales, whereas we have very few shops, just about five shops across the country that sells our product, but mostly we sell through direct sales to the consumer, and which is quite good for us at this kind level that we are.
Yeah, thank you. My next question sort of broadens out a little bit, but I was wondering if you could share a little bit about the biggest challenge or challenges that you had experienced in your journey to establish a social enterprise and what steps you took to overcome those challenges.
Oh, tough question, but I remember when we starting up, when I first shared the idea with my organization where I was working at the time in the development space. I got a feel that most people believe that this cannot work, that it's an idea that is not going to work in our system, in our country. And because of that, it was a little setback for me because I also began to doubt that probably it's not going to work.
Mm.
So then I took a bold step and said, okay, if no one is willing to finance this, let me try to save up and commit some funds to it. So I saved up for a year, and with the savings, I started a small engagement while I was still engaged in the job. And then while I was doing that, I realized that a whole lot of fund is required to do the things that I really want to do. So, and then I began to struggle with the idea until I had a kind of a clarity section where it occurred to me that some of these ideas on how I have imagined that the food system in Nigeria can be transformed. So I realized that it just had to be like a step at a time. That after all, it's probably said Rome is not built in a day. So one step at a time, and that changed everything for me because initially I begin to look at the numbers, but now I begin to look at the people. So there are millions of farmers in Nigeria are struggling with poverty, struggling with huge post-harvest losses, lack of access to market. So these are not just data, these are human beings. So I begin to see that what if I can only work with just 5 farmers, support just 5 farmers to be able to reduce post-harvest losses, to be able to access market, to increase their income for the household. That could mean that they could afford to buy the other things they don't produce. That could mean that they can fix their leaking roof. That could mean that when somebody in the family is sick, maybe they could take them to the health center and get them, access to health care. So that changes everything for me. So with that renewed understanding that it doesn't have to be working with thousands of farmers or 1 million farmers, which sounds cool. Like, I wish I could say, oh, we are working with 500,000 farmers, So we begin to say, you know what, we can start with just 10 farmers. And that was what we did. We started with just about 5 farmers. We listened a lot, we took notes, we did data collection, we tested so many things. Initially, we were selling fresh produce. It was not working, we were losing money, then we stopped that and realized that we need to do value addition. Because value addition gives us opportunity to bargain for price. It gives us opportunity to be able to delay sales when the market is not favorable. So we begin to work from 5 farmers, we move up to 20. Then before you know it, we have people who said, you know what, I'm willing to give you some money as a loan. When can you pay back at 0 interest for the work you're doing? And then we continue to do this. That was how we were able to grow from where we are to where we are today. So optimism really helped us understanding that the big wall can be broken down into smaller pieces. It's super important for how we've been able to do the work we're doing. So the challenges are still enormous, but day by day, we're trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, thank you. And that brings me to my next question is, where do you see yourself and Tomatrix in 1, 5, or even 10 years down the line?
We want Tomatrix to evolve to become an agri-food innovation hub, more like a one-stop shop that provides services to farmers, provides technology, access to technology, provides finance, not just only that, and also promotes equity in the food system, whereby everyone is able to access food in the right measure with the right composition, and then nobody has to worry about whether the market will get sold or not. So this is the visions this is the roadmap we have. So we hope to be able to guarantee provision of these services for the smallholder farmers, whereby we continue to support and promote agroecological principle. One thing I found personally very attractive about the agroecological system is the fact that it is culturally sensitive. There's a cultural dimension to food. There's a community dimension to food. So the ability to be able to protect the cultural sensitivity of food is very fascinating to me, because for many of us, our food reminds us of our background, of our childhood, of our parents and our community where we grow up. And importantly, it embodies humanity. So it's an attraction for me, and continue to provide access to trainings that reduce post-harvest losses. We hope to continue to find ways to strengthen farmers' organization, support with access to finance. Access to finance is a very big challenge in emerging markets in developing countries. So we hope to be able to find innovative, creative ways to promote access to finance for all our food producers, and also guarantee access to market, promote youth inclusion in agribusiness, promote women inclusion in agribusiness, support marginalized people to access land in the agriculture space. And then lastly is we hope to evolve from being a processor at this time, but to be a place where there is a research and development for small scale food processing that support community enterprise. Nigeria is quite big. Like I said, 232 million people needs to be fed in this country. So we want to become like a knowledge partners to small scale processors, developing innovation, training people how to use this innovation, and mentoring people, mentoring young professionals to do what we can do. We have so many agricultural value chains that are currently underserved. Mentoring young professionals to be able to replicate our proven model in many other crop value chain, being able to set up their own community-centric food innovation hub with some of the lessons we've learned and some of the equipment that we've been able to work with, having a common space where we could share ideas and brainstorm. And on the consumer end, guaranteeing year-round access to quality food products, we want to contribute to nutrition. We don't just want people to eat, we want people to eat healthy food. And lastly, we believe that if we are able to do all of this correctly, we will be tackling the rural poverty that is quite very endemic in Nigeria. In Nigeria today, more than 60% of Nigerians are classified to be multi-dimensionally poor by the UN development program, and it's something that makes me sad because the country is quite a blessed country. Is a wealthy country, but with very huge inequality. So we hope that we are able to become a source of inspiration to reduce poverty by providing enterprising solutions through the agriculture and the food space. This is what we see us continuing to do. We've been doing some of this already, and we hope to be able to get to this level in the next couple of years.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So I guess to sort of build off of what you had mentioned about growing your capacity and growing your reach, what do you look for when you are hiring or bringing on or looking to bring on a new team member to Tomatrix?
We try to look for people who appreciate the struggles of the farmers. It's a difficult space to operate in. Our farmers are very hardworking, but they're struggling. They're struggling with poverty. They're struggling with malnutrition and many other challenges. Climate change impact on their production as well. So we try to look for people who appreciate their normal the gravity of the work that needs to be done. So we look for that. Then we also look for people who are willing to learn. We know that everybody, we know, yes, young professionals are smart people, super intelligent. But despite, I have about 7 years professional work experience before I got into doing Tomatrix. And I have to learn a lot. I have to learn so much for us to be where we are today. So the immunity to learn from the farmers, learn from colleagues, learn from what works and what does not work. We also look for that humility, the curiosity to learn as well. And then lastly, we look for young professionals that are very optimistic, because in agricultural space, you tend to win sometime, you get to lose sometime. So we try to look for young professionals who are not discouraged or easily detached, that are resilient, optimistic. Just last week, we were in harvest season for the yam, and it's so bad that at the farm gate, the price of the yam, it is so much more lower and cheaper than the cost of the seed for the cultivation, because there's a glut season, influx of supply, and farmers are losing money. Like, literally, it is a very heart-wrenching moment. But for us, we understand that this happens, so we need to develop systems to protect the farmers against this kind of crash in price of commodity, whereby farmers lose so much, and this also contributes to post-harvest losses, because when the market is oversupplied and farmers can't sell, prices crashes, that farmers are depressed. So we look for young professionals that are optimistic, that are willing to find ways, new ways to do all things. These are very important to us. These three key qualities are very important to me. The ability to learn, the ability to be optimistic and believe that, yes, no matter what, we can do it. And lastly, to appreciate the work that needs to be done. It's a very tough space to operate in. There's a lot of work to be done. And we don't have so many models to copy from. So we have to learn and figure out our way out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. And the last question that I have before I'll turn the floor back over to you, is do you have any advice for emerging students or food systems professionals who are looking to get into the type of work that you are doing, or who are looking to find a new way of doing business through a social enterprise?
I'll say that it's important if anyone thinking in this direction to look for something that you just not happy seeing and you just want to change. That's deep passion to contribute positively to bring about a change. It's a necessary motivation to do something meaningful and then lead in a very novel and a different way. Like I tell myself every day that what we do, if we don't do it, not many people wants to do it. So it's a difficult work that only people like you and I can really do. People that are passionate and just want to bring about change. So it's very important. Look for something that don't just complain about problem. Oh, the food system is broken. Oh, we have so much challenges. Oh, the conglomerates have taken over too much concentration of power and all of that. We could complain about this, but complaining will not change anything. So you can do something about it, and you don't have to start massively big this way. You could be going this way, or you could start from here. So like we tell ourselves every day, where we're going is to become an innovation hub that provides support for so many young professionals to do what I am currently doing now. But that is where we hope to be in future. But where we are right now is we are a small scale social enterprise. Whereas there are many thousands of farmers out there that need what we're doing, but we don't have the capacity yet to support that huge number. So starting small, don't be afraid to start small. You can start small and it's about impact. So look for a very interesting problem to solve, stay motivated, start small, and then continue to grow through it. So that would be my own piece of advice.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I'll give the floor back to you now. If you have anything that you would like to touch upon, or any points that you think by the questions didn't give you a chance to address, feel free to share now.
Oh, I'll just say in closing for me that as far as the food sector is concerned, that we're fortunate to have people who are still willing to work our lands, to work the soil and produce the food that we eat. We need to appreciate them more and appreciate the work that they do. It is critical that we all must come together to find ways to ensure that their hard work is not lost. Post-harvest loss, food waste, it's a terrible problem that we must find ways to address. So by so doing, it's a demonstration of appreciation for the people that we call farmers, be it in North America or in the developing countries around the world. Our farmers are precious people, and we need to support them with our knowledge, innovation, exposure to ensure that their hard work is not lost. So I hope to continue to do this. we should all do this. I think we should all do this. I'm being selfish, but I think we should all do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. All right. So we want to extend a big thank you once again to Mr. Babadora for sharing his experiences so generously during this first episode of our pilot season. Mr. Babadora's contact information is shown here, will be included along with the recording, available on the NAFSN website. And so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And thank you for joining us for the first episode of our pilot series, Redefining Business. Join us again for our next episode featuring Annabelle's Grocery, a student-run store dedicated to making fresh, local produce available to the Cornell student body and helping students reimagine their role within the food system. And don't forget to join us for our live classic Finding Your Future in Food Systems episodes on select Wednesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or view the recordings available on the NAFSN website. And to conclude, on behalf of our entire productions team here at NAFSN, including Natalie, Kim, Vivian, Ali, Ari, Akela, Audrey, Emily, Wendy, Daniela, Marie, and myself, we thank you for being here with us today, and we hope to see you again for our next episode of Finding Your Future in Food Systems, whether synchronously or not. And until then, we wish you well.
You've been listening to Finding Your Future in Food Systems, produced by the North American Food Systems Network. To learn more about our professional development opportunities, visit foodsystemsnetwork.org.